So financial planning and budgeting. What is financial planning? A financial plan is a document that details a person's current financial circumstances. Please now, if you're not talking, mute yourself.
No, kí lẹ sọ?
Kí lẹ sọ? Ẹ mute ara yín. A financial plan is a document that details a person's current financial circumstances, their short, medium, long-term monetary goals. It also includes strategies to achieve these goals. So in other words, a financial plan tells us where you are at the moment, tells us where you want to go, right? And also tells us how you intend to get there. It is not enough to say, oh, I want to have 1 million by the end of next year. What are you going to do? What are you doing currently? And what are you going to do to have that 1 million at that time? So it's not just about setting goals, right? It's about setting requisite action, the things that need to be done for those goals to be accomplished. So there are 7 components of every financial plan, and I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes explaining those components. 7 components of financial goal. I'm also trying to admit people as they join. 7 components. The first one of a financial plan, 7 components of financial plan. The first one is financial goals. The next one is net worth. Please, as you are joining, can you kindly mute yourself? As you are joining, please mute yourself. I already said this in the group. Once you join, mute yourself. That's the first thing. Once you join, mute yourself. That is the first thing. GLR, mute yourself. Oluwaseun, mute yourself. Net worth, budget, debt management, retirement plan and emergency savings, insurance, and estate planning. So these are the 7 components of your financial plan. If I give you an assignment that says, prepare your financial plan, these are the things I'm asking. I want to see these 7 things in your assignment: your financial goals, your net worth, your budget, your debt management strategies, your retirement or emergency savings plan, your insurance plan, and your estate planning plan, if I can use that word. Let's take it one after the other. Financial goals. What are financial goals? We all know what goals are, right? So just put financial behind the goals. What are financial goals? Your goals must be SMART. How much do you want to earn, active and passive incomes, in the next 2, 3, 5, or 10 years? So there are 2 dimensions of income. There is active income and there is passive income. Active income meaning you are working and you are earning money. So active income is you are exchanging your time for money. It can be through paid employment and it can be through entrepreneurship. As far as you are exchanging your time for money, that's active income. The other kind of income is passive income, which is all our desires, our goal. We want to earn passive income where you don't really have to do anything and your money is working for you somewhere. For instance, now, if you buy shares in, say, Access Bank, you are not part of Access Bank, you are not a banker, you might even be an engineer. But because you've bought that shares, they are paying you 2 kinds of returns. They are paying you dividend, and when your shares appreciate, you also get what is called capital gain. We'll look at that extensively when we get to equities. But now let's focus on financial goals. Your goals must be SMART. That's the first thing. The next one is it must show clearly your active and passive income, what you want to get in active and your passive income. For instance, now at the beginning of this year, I said I want to make 3 million naira per month from my business. So that is a very specific goal. It's very specific. I can measure it. I now did not just say 3 million naira per month for my side business. I said, what will I do to make this happen, right? Example, I said I was going to write an ebook on debt. I was going to sell the ebook 1,000 naira. All I need to do is get that 1,000 naira ebook into the hands of 1,000 people. That will give me 1 million. Then I said I was going to write another book on a guide on how to invest. I was going to sell it at 2.5. And all I needed to do, can you mute yourself? This is not hard now. When you come in, just mute yourself. So you set the goal. After you have set the goal, you look at what do you need to do different from what you have already been doing. Who is that, please? Can you mute yourself? Pastor, please mute yourself, Pastor. Thank you. Then you look at what would you do differently? What additional skills do you need to acquire? Example, and I've given an example. I want to start earning a monthly income of 1 million from 2024 July. I will sign up for a 6-month financial modeling course in January 2024. Upon completion, I will sign up to Fiverr or Upwork. These are examples of financial goals, very specific. What you want to earn in terms of income and what you want to do to earn that level of income. That's what I want to see when I ask you to set your financial goal, which I already asked in your group, in your individual assignment. The next one is net worth. A lot of times when people say net worth, we think it's only the guys it's only the Dangotes of this world, Jeff Bezos of this world that needs to calculate their net worth. No. Every one of us, we need to know how much our net worth is at every point in time. We need to know what we are worth at any point in time. Your net worth is a quantitative concept that measures the value of an entity and can apply to individuals, corporations, sectors, and even countries. So it means that we can know the net worth of an individual. We can know the net worth of a bank. We can know the net worth of Nigerian banking industry. We can know the net worth of Nigeria. So that's what it means. So net worth is not peculiar, or it's not just to people. It is also to corporation. It is to countries. It is to sector and all of that. So to calculate your net worth, all you need to do is subtract your liabilities from your assets. What are your assets? Your assets may include your home, your car, the cash you have in the bank, the money you've invested in equities, mutual funds, and other kinds of investments. While your liabilities are your outstanding bills, like mortgage, car loan, loans, family and friends, and all of that. So I'm going to show us a physical demonstration, or my next slide will show us how to calculate our net worth. So this is, I've used an hypothetical name, Segun's net worth calculation. So this is how much Segun is worth. Let's look at Segun's assets. Segun has a 3-bedroom flat, has a 3-bedroom house in Agege. The current market value of that house is 28 million naira. He has a 2020 Toyota Camry. The current market value, don't forget that word, market value. Means the amount that thing is worth at the moment in the market, not the amount he bought it. So if you bought your house 15 million and you want to calculate your net worth, most likely that 15 million would have become something else, would have risen. So you want to look at what is the current value? What is the current value? Someone is raising, you're raising your hand, you can talk. Louis, Lois. You can unmute yourself and talk. Are you talking? Lois, we can't hear anything that you said. Or me, I can't hear anything that you said. Maybe you may want to type out what you are trying to say. Your audio is very poor. You may want to type it out. Type it out in the comment box. I'll read it. So this is Shegun's net worth. He has a house that is 28 million naira. His car is 3.5 million. He has cash in Zenith Bank, 2.150. He has cash in his pension account, 11 million. Other investments, 2.5. It means his total asset as of today is 47,360,000. Don't forget I said for you to know what your net worth is. Your net worth is a computation of your total assets minus your total liabilities. So these are these guys' liability. His liabilities are, he has a car loan of 2.3 million. He has a mortgage loan of 11 million. He has a student loan of 5 million. So his total liabilities is 18,320,000. So for you to get your net worth is your total assets, which is 47 million in this case, minus your total liabilities, which is 18 million. So the net worth of this guy as of today stands at 29,040,000 naira. So if I say you should calculate your net worth, you are going to do this same thing. All the assets that you own, you list them out. You find out the market value of each of your assets. Then your liabilities, you find out what are your liabilities. You do a calculation of all your liabilities. You deduct your liabilities from your assets to get your net worth. Okay, I'm trying to read the comment. I think it's from your end. But can you guys hear me well? So I know it's not my own network.
Yes, we can.
Oh,
yes,
perfect.
we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes,
we can.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. So I have said, don't forget I said, what we are looking at is 7 components of a financial plan. I have discussed financial goals. I have taken us through net worth. The third one, which is one of the most popular ones, is the budget. So what is budget and what is budgeting? Budgeting gives you control over where your money is going. If that's everything you want to take out from this session, don't forget it. Budgeting gives you control over where your money is going. You know why I discourage debt is because, especially consumption debt, is that it dictates where your money should go. So another person is ruling you. So when you are in debt, the meaning is that you have given power to another person over you. A lot of people in our days now, is bank that is ruling them. A lot of people is their family and friends that is ruling them because they are owing those people, they are debtors to those people. And your creditor is actually a lord that tells you what to do and what not to do. In the same way, budgeting gives you control. In the same way, budgeting gives you control over where your money goes and where it doesn't go. Your budget is what shows you what you can afford and what you can't afford. It is no longer news. I know you guys might have heard me say it from time to time, that the fact that you earn 200,000 doesn't mean you can afford something that is 20,000 naira. How do you know you can afford something like 20,000? It means you must have done your budget, and your budget shows that you can afford that thing very clearly. That's when you know what you can afford and what you can't afford. So your budget tells you the lifestyle that is sustainable and one that is not. All budgeting starts with knowing your monthly income and expenses. Your income may be from multiple sources: income from your regular paycheck, income from your side hustle, from child support, or government benefit. So you need to know all your income and know all your expenses. Let's look at an hypothetical example of budget, someone's budget. So this is Janet's personal budget. So I've asked you guys to draw your budget. This is what your budget would look like. Your budget would normally have 2 sides: your right side, which is your income side, and your left side, which is your expenses side. So you can see on my own budget, on Janet's personal budget, you can see our income on this side and our expenses on the left side of the column of your screen. Sorry. So what is our income? This lady Janet earns 200,000 naira from our paid employment. Interest income. Interest income means that maybe she has shares, or she has an investment somewhere that gives her interest, maybe fixed deposits or any other investment that pays her interest. So she gets a monthly interest of 25,000 naira from that investment. Then she also gets 50,000 naira from her side hustle, because maybe on Fridays at night she has side hustle. A lot of us now have side hustle even with our paid employment. So the total income that this girl has is 275,000 naira. Her total income is 275,000 naira. Then you come to the expenses side. So you stop there, you come to the expenses side. Expenses side, what are her monthly expenses? Rent. She pays 60,000 naira on rent monthly. Another expenses she pays transportation, 50,000. Groceries, feeding and groceries, she pays 35,000 for that. Givings, she pays 30,000. Then we have utility, meaning NEPA bill. If you live in Nigeria, NEPA bill is now Ikeja, Eko, Ibadan Electric, depending on where you live. She has data she browses with. Then she has DSTV, whatever utility, whatever it is, whatever utility that she has, the budget for utility monthly is 30,000, meaning that our total expenses is 205,000 per month. So if you want to know what our net income, so this is how Janet can know what she can afford. If her friend now comes to say, I want to get married next month, though, my Ashwebi is 20,000 naira. You now look at it. She has taken out all her expenses from her income. The balance is 70,000 naira. She can now decide, this 70,000 naira, I want to break it. The logical thing to do is your excess. When you deduct your expenses from your income, you're supposed to invest. The balance is what tells how much you can invest. Someone has asked me, hey, how much can I invest monthly? I don't know how much you can invest monthly. The only thing that can tell you how much you can invest monthly is your budget. Nobody can tell you how much you can invest monthly. Oh, your parents, you want to know how much is realistic to give your parents on a monthly basis. Nobody can decide that. The only person that can decide that is your budget. It tells you what is sustainable, what is not sustainable, what is affordable, what is not affordable. That's what your budget does. Osarodion, you're raising up your hand. Speak.
Good evening.
Evening.
Thank you for the teaching so far. So I want to confirm, is it possible to add savings under expenses, just so you can be disciplined with savings? Then probably savings and investment, then the net income would now be what you can use for miscellaneous, that is maybe given to parents or any other expenses that comes alongside.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, you see, this is just a template, right? You will now know what works for you. What I'm just trying to show you is, I've gotten a lot of questions where people will say, how much can I save? How much? Nobody can determine that. So now, from this girl's case, now we all know that what she has left is 70,000. This person cannot save 100,000 monthly. If she saves 100,000, it means that something else has to have been given. Something else needs to be sacrificed. For example, I want to my savings is 70,000 naira. That's all I can save. But I want to save more than 70,000. What options are available to me? You go back to your expenses. Two things you can do: reduce your expenses or increase your income. Look for another way. This is your side also that is giving you 50K. How can you turn it to 100,000? That's number one question. Your salary that is 200K, can you get another job that pays you higher than 200K? That's another thing. Or you come to the expenses side. Your rent is currently 60,000 naira per month. It means that if you pay 60,000 naira per month, it means you are paying 720,000 per annum, right? Do you want to look for an apartment that is cheaper than that annually, so that it can bring this to 40,000? Then you can have 20,000 to add to your net income to save. Do you want to share with someone? Get a friend. If you are not married, I believe that when you are not married, is the best time to save. You guys are not married yet, it is the best time to save. If you can save 50%, 70%, in fact, trust God to be able to save up to 80% of your salary when you are not married. Because once you get married, marriage is not it's not really an asset. It doesn't really, it takes money from you. It doesn't really bring money into your pocket. Like whether you're a man, and I've realized that it doesn't even matter the gender that you are now, whether that you're a man or a woman. Marriage is about spending money, right? And expenses are more in marriages than when you are single. So to answer your question, you can decide to say, for discipline's sake, I want to put my savings under my monthly expenses, and it's automated such that immediately your salary comes in, is deducted, but you have an idea that that money is actually going into savings. Is good. And you can say, for my net income, after deducting all my, don't forget, these are very basic expenses that you cannot do without. There is your wants and there is your needs. These are your needs. They are your wants. That, okay, example of want. Okay, I now want something out of this place. Maybe I want to take my babe. I want to buy a gift for my girlfriend. That's a want. It's not a need. You know the limit of what. If you now carry all the 70,000 naira here to buy the gift for your babe, it means you've already done more than what your budget. You won't have any savings for that month. That is the implication of that. Oluwatosin, raise hand. You can talk, Tosin.
All right, I want to ask that for someone who doesn't have any side hustle or does not have any other means or source of income, and okay, maybe the money you have left to save or invest is 70,000, just like this scenario.
Yes.
But you want to start investing in yourself, you want to start buying courses, start learning new skills.
Yes.
Should your savings and investments suffer for maybe you want to buy courses, you want to learn new skills, you want to learn something so you can start making more? Or you should just be to saving, and maybe when you can afford to buy courses and the rest, you will do that?
Okay, I like your question. So, at some point we will get there. There are three kinds of savings. We have emergency savings, we have consumption savings, and we have investment savings. Emergency savings are the monies that you put aside for unforeseen circumstances. God forbid that anything happens to you now and they say go and bring 100,000, but you have been working from January, you don't have it. You now have to go and be borrowing from PAMPay. That's a very bad thing to do, right? So it means, and you won't say, God forbid that you have health issues and they say bring 200,000, but you have been earning 200,000 from January. And you now say the only excuse here, I've been spending the money on myself to get professional certification. At that point, professional certification cannot save you. So that is why emergency savings is the first and most important type of savings that you need to put aside for unforeseen circumstances. Then we have investment savings. Investment savings is what you put aside for long term. You are saving towards your future for 5 years, 10 years. So if you are at that level right now where you don't earn so much, right, your take home is not enough to take you home, it is still excusable not to have investment savings because you are saving that one towards your future. You can use the excuse that the investment you are investing right now is you are investing into yourself. You are taking courses, not that you are buying clothes though. You are buying clothes and doing fine girl, not that one. But you can use that excuse that, oh, I'm taking professional certification, so that is my investment for now. That makes sense. But that must not take the place of your emergency savings, because if anything happens to you, the professional courses, God forbid someone loses a job. How will the person cope for the time that he or she doesn't have a job? That is what emergency savings is for. Then the last type of savings is your consumption savings, which is always for a particular target. A very good example is rent. A lot of us in Nigeria don't pay our rent monthly. We pay our rent once in a year. The wisdom there is, even though you pay your landlord once a year, pay your rent monthly into an account. This is what I do too. I created a Cowrywise account. I may not be able to say this because they didn't pay me to market for them, right? I created a Cowrywise account that I pay my rent into on a monthly basis. As at the middle of this year, my rent for the year, I pay my rent in February every year. My rent for this year is already complete since I've forgotten that I've paid my rent. I have not given my landlord the rent, but my rent is already in my rent account and it's complete. So that is how you're supposed to live your life. I pay my rent monthly. For my transport, if I think that I'm not disciplined, when I was building this culture of discipline, when I wasn't disciplined with money, that any money in my account I just spent, and I wanted to start becoming accountable, my transport monthly, I will open account with a filling station, Total, NNPC, and I will get their fuel cards. So if I were this girl, this 50,000 for transportation, and I have a car that I drive, I would remove the money from make they pay my salary. I'll remove this money and pay.
Sorry, Mr. Sheyi, for breaking you. Sorry, please.
Please raise your hand before you talk, please. Raise your hand before.
I did. I just did.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
I did already.
Go on.
Who is now it's actually
I'm trying to look for you.
No, this is the Samsung S7.
You to look now. Samsung is your name, Abby.
No, Samsung is not my name. I'm actually doing it from my workplace.
It's fine.
Not
bad.
Go on.
I'm just joking. Go on.
No, I just want to talk about the other people on the WhatsApp platform. They said they can't get in because the meeting has gotten to the maximum number of participants. So you have to reset it so that they can come in.
Oh, okay. The account I'm using, I think it has maximum of 100 people. I totally forgot. So I need to take this class again then. I need to take this class for people that weren't able to join now. So the maximum this class can take is 100 people. Can someone help me drop it on the group? So I'll do a part B. I'll do a part B after this class. Or maybe we'll just fix that for tomorrow. But I'll repeat this session. So that's what we'll do. Pen the time that I would expand to 1,000. Or we'll just use Teams. Okay, thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. All right, so let's move on. Two participants raise hands. Okay, Blessing, you want to say something?
Okay, mine is not actually a question. It's a suggestion. If we can, continue with the class, then after the class, we can now ask questions so that we don't get to distract, comprehension of what is being taught.
Okay, thank you.
So that we don't go back and forth. Yes, thank you.
Okay, that makes sense then. Thank you so much. Okay, let's just continue then. So that is how you do your expenses and income. So let me just move on because the slides are plenty. We're still going far. So what are some of the budget assumptions? Number one, your monthly. I'm trying to see what I wrote here. Okay, your annual rent should not be above 1/3 of your income. So what that is, so if you earn, let's look at this girl. She earns, her total income monthly is 275,000 and her rent is 60,000 naira. So it means she's paying 720,000 per annum as rent. The underlying principle for your rent is that your rent should not be more than 3 months' salary. So it means that if you add your 3 months' income together, you must be able to pay your annual rent. If that is not possible, you're already living beyond your means. You know when we say don't live beyond your means, we don't break these things down to people. That is the breaking it down. If you add 3 months of your salary together and it's not enough to pay your rent annually, you're already living above your means. So when you have zero debt, you have more control of your income. Go back to this girl. So can you imagine if this girl has a debt of 100,000 naira that she's paying monthly because she's taking her MBA from Nextford. Nextford allows you to pay monthly. So she's doing the MBA and she's paying 100,000 naira monthly. Even though it is for a good cause, that loan is a bit sensible. But from her financial status, she cannot afford that expenses. So we must be able to know what we can afford per time. Even though, I want to say this so you guys understand, so it sinks. Even though it is for a good cause, taking a loan that she has to now pay 100,000 per month, because if you introduce 100,000 per month into her expenses, it shoots her expenses up to 305,000, meaning that by the time you minus our expense from our income, she has a negative. So why is she supposed to meet up with that negative? This is why people now get into more debt. So she's already taking a course that she cannot afford. Her expenses every month, she's short of 35,000 naira. What she now does is she now be looking for where to borrow 35,000 naira to meet up her monthly expenses because she's doing personal development. Any personal development that you have to borrow money for, it is not worth doing. And that is the honest financial expert truth. You may not accept it, but that's the truth. The next one is, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to create a budget for your business and a separate one for your personal finance. Your business is not you. Your business is not you. It is easier to save when you don't have dependents. I already said this before. These are just some budget assumptions, some budget facts that you need to know. Then let's talk about debt management. Don't forget, we're looking at those 7 pillars of financial plan, right? I've spoken about. Can someone remind me of the first one that we spoke about? Anyone, just talk. The first one we spoke about.
Financial goal.
Financial goal. Second one.
Financial goal, network.
3.
Budget.
Budgeting.
And now we are the fourth one, which is debt management. If there's anything you should desire in your life, it is to get to a position where you have zero debt. There's nothing like zero debt, though. And in the last 2 years, I probably coached not less than 1,000 people who are in debt. And I know how it can be. A lot of people tell you that they can't sleep at night because of debt. It comes with a lot of emotional torture. So you want to do everything in your power to stay out of debt. So that is why if you are in debt, you have to create, as part of your financial plan, you must have a debt management strategy. What do you want to do to ensure that you become debt-free? It is very important. Financial freedom is a journey that starts with zero debt. So you cannot talk about financial freedom without talking about zero debt. In fact, the beginning, when you are building a house, you want to start from the foundation. The foundation for your financial freedom is zero debt. When you have achieved zero debt, you are done with the foundation, you can now start building brick by brick. Having zero debt means you are empowered to decide where your income goes. When you don't have debt, your 70,000, in the case of Janet, you can tell your 70,000 where it will go because you have no debt on your neck. It is therefore important to create a plan around your debt if you have any. So let's look at, there are 2 broad categorizations of debt. We have consumption debt. We have consumption debt and we have good debt. Consumption debt is also known as bad debt. You take loan to pay your rent, is consumption. You take a loan to pay your school fees, is consumption debt. You take a loan to buy a car, is consumption, except that car is now bringing you money. Maybe you are using it for Uber, for Bolt, and it's bringing you money. That now becomes a good debt. Good debt is when you use debt as leverage. And I say this a lot of time. When you are starting a business afresh and you have not done that business before, taking a debt, it is not a good debt at that point. It is a bad debt because you have not proven that business. A lot of people take debt to start a business. Most of the time, in fact, 99.9% of the time, the business does not go well because you don't know that terrain yet. You're not familiar with it. It is better to take a debt for expansion, right? Banks are even more comfortable to give you debt when they know that you are doing well. As a matter of fact, in finance, we tell businesses that the best time to apply for a loan is when you don't need the loan in your business. Meaning that you are not desperate. When you are not desperate for the money, when everything is flowing well, that's when bankers will even feel comfortable to give you the loan. So there are 2 kinds of debt: consumption and good debt, which is the one you use as leverage or for income producing purposes. So if you are in debt now, what are the things that you can do to get out of debt? And this is the summary of the book I wrote, How to Deal with Crippling Debts and Loan Sharks. Number 1 is family and friends. Your family and friends are the people that you need to first and foremost leverage when you are in debt. It is not a time to keep quiet and pretend as though everything is fine, and then you are taking pictures in fine restaurants, but you are owing people and you are shining your teeth up and down. No, it's not the time. And it's not also the time to be acting depressed all over the place. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it is the time to have genuine, frank conversations with your family and friends. And a good example is one of my mentees. She earns 250,000, but she has a loan of over 4 million naira because she was paying school fees of 4 of her siblings that she couldn't afford. I had to call her. You need to have a conversation with your parents. Let them know your financial situation. You cannot continue to live. She doesn't have anything to her name. Clothes, she doesn't have. Car, she doesn't have. House, she doesn't have. Land, she doesn't have. But she's in debt of 4 million. So even if you are paying 250,000 that you're earning, everything as repayment monthly, it will still take you minimum of 2 years, which we all know that it is impossible. It's impossible for you to pay 100% of your income as repayment of it for a debt because you have other expenses as well. So your family and friends, I used to advise people when you are in debt, look at your list of family and friends. Who can you confide in? Who are the people that you can talk to? Now, you're not asking them to borrow you money because you're already in debt. You're asking them to gift you money, right? And also ask God for favor. So when you have that conversation with them, they can come to your rescue. So asking them to give you a raise. Maybe you need to raise 1 million right now. You can look at 10 friends that can give you, that are doing well in their own rights. That can give you 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, and all of that. That's one of the strategies to adopt. The other one is convertible assets in your house. What are the things that can be easily converted to cash? Do you have 2 cars? These are things that I've done personally at one point or the other myself, right? So do you have 2 cars? Can you sell off one so that you can use it to pay? Do you have an expensive car? Can you sell it off and buy a smaller car so that you can have money and so that you can pay part of the debt to reduce your debt? Do you have clothes? It will shock you. Some people have clothes. Some ladies have the shoes in their closet. You can sell. You can do thrift. You can look for people that do thrift. Sell it. Let them help you sell so you can raise money. The other strategy is another income stream. Sometimes you might not be earning enough. It might be time to look inward. What skill do you have that you can deploy, right? What else can you do? Do you need to get another job? What can you do at weekends? What do you know how to do best? So look at strategies to raise more money just to pay down this debt so that you can be free. It's like you can see how this is how debt is. Look at this guy, the picture of this guy carrying debt. The debt is so huge. You can't walk faster. You can't build faster. It's so much burden that you have to do everything within your power to stay out of. Then the last strategy is you negotiate. So sometimes it is not a good thing to be owing and then you are hiding, you are playing hanky-panky games. It's not the right time. You want to pick up your phone, call people. And there's one time like that I was owing, I'd taken a microfinance bank loan to finance a business that didn't turn out well. And I was in paid employment at that time, right? I had a job. But for one reason or the other, I lost the job. I couldn't afford. My repayment monthly for that loan was 250,000. There's no way I could afford it. I knew the repayment was coming. What I did before the repayment ever came, I think the repayment I was supposed to pay on the 25th of every month. I knew I'd lost my job. I paid last month. I already lost my job. I called them like on the 5th. I called my banker. This is the situation. This is my letter that shows I'm no longer at this job. I cannot afford to pay this money, but I have a side hustle. For my side hustle, this is my record. I can afford to pay 50,000 for my side hustle. So for the meantime, I'll need another 3, 4, 5 months to look for another job. Can you allow me to pay 50,000 monthly for the next 5 months until I get another job? And so that you guys won't charge me penalty because I can't afford penalty. Someone that cannot even afford to pay principal and interest, you still want to be charging penalty. I can't afford it. And they saw the genuineness. Say, oh, this guy, the fact that I didn't wait for them to call me, I was the one that reached out to them first. They considered and they accepted. And I paid 50,000 up until 6 months after when I got another job and I was able to clear the money. What am I saying? Negotiate with your creditor. Sometimes you might need to say, for what I'm owing you, can you take this asset? Oh, I have this amount of money. I'm owing you 1 million, but I have 500,000. Do you mind? Can you reduce the interest so that I can pay the principal? At that point, sincerity always helps your negotiation. Then the next one is retirement planning and emergency savings. I already talked about emergency savings before. That is the savings that you put aside for unforeseen circumstances. Every one of us, don't let anything, no matter how difficult the expenses is, don't let it disturb you from having your emergency savings intact. So you are truly ready for retirement. How do you know you are truly ready for retirement? Number one, because I also know that I have older people on this call, people that are in their 40s, in their 50s. So how do you know that you are ready for retirement? Number one, you have zero debt. When you get to that situation where you don't have any debt, no mortgage loan, no student loan, no credit card loan, every form of, you are not owing anybody. That's number one sign that you are now ready. The number two sign is you have no huge future financial commitment. Example, if your children are still your children are still teenagers, they've not gone to university, even though you are 65, as far as you have not prepared for the higher institution, you are not free. You can't retire. And that's why you see people that are old and are still working, because they still have huge expenses. And like I always say this a lot, that your highest expenses are in your future. If you are not married now, your highest expenses are still in your future. If you are married now, your highest expenses are still in your future, because inflation is not going to come down. It will keep going up. Cost of living is not going to come down. It will still going, it will keep going up. So you need to plan yourself for these circumstances that would arise in the future. So another pointer to judge whether you are ready for retirement, you have at least 25 times your annual living expenses in, look at this very well, in convertible liquid investment. Example, what that means is, if you spend 10 million naira in a year, if that is your annual living expenses, that is what you spend from January to December, is 10 million. The only way you can know that you are ready for retirement is if you have 25 million times that 10 million times 25. It means you have 250 million in, look at where you have it though, in a convertible liquid investment. Meaning that it is not real estate. You don't have it in real estate. No, you have it in investment that you can easily convert to cash, because real estate is not a liquid investment. Liquid investment are investment that you can quickly convert to cash. That is, if anything happens within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, you can easily get the money back. Real estate, the problem with real estate is when all your investment is in real estate, if anything happens, that's why people now, that's why you hear people say distress sale. Why do people do distress sale? Because they need money. They don't have the money in any other investment. They've put all their eggs in one basket because someone told them that real estate is the only investment that is real. So they put all their money in real estate. Now they need ordinary 5 million. They can't afford it. And yet they have properties worth 500 million. But they need ordinary 5 million. They can't afford it. That is a very bad financial way to live your life. It's a very wrong financial strategy for your life. You should have liquid investments that if anything happens today, you can bring out the money within 48 hours maximum. So let's move on. Okay, I've talked about emergency savings before. This is one of the most important savings to have. The others are consumption or goal-based savings and investment or long-term savings. The next one is insurance. Insurance is really very important, but in this part of the world, we really do not rate insurance because it's God that's our insurance. As you start to grow in your wealth, as you start to build wealth, you must begin to prioritize insurance, because insurance is the way you protect everything that you have worked for. God forbid, people have lost everything they have worked for. There was one day I don't know, when this song was trending on TikTok, this Vivi, imagination, the only designer of our generation. It just occurred to me that this was one of the biggest shots, biggest designer of all time. It's just like how Wizkid and Davido would sing about Elumelu, would sing about all these big designers today. That was how people sang the praise of this guy. I went to Google, what happened to Vivid Imagination? I saw what happened to him. One very funny thing. His store in Lagos got raised by fire. All his equipment burnt down, his building burnt down, and that was the end. Why? No insurance. Insurance is the way by which, as God begins to bless you, insurance is, the way I even say it is, God gave man wisdom to design a product like insurance, that even though you suffer any loss, you have a promise of restoration, that thing will be restored back to you. That's what insurance is. And it's not to say God is my insurance. God is all of our insurance. But this is the way that you can protect everything God gives you. When I was running my logistics business, and I had grown from one bike to over 20 bikes, right? So one of the frequent occurrences then was accidents. I would just be in I also had my 9 to 5. I'll be at my job. My rider they will call me. The rider had just been involved in an accident. He had a particular one like that is still very fresh in my memory. I just bought that bike less than 3 months, a 450,000 naira bike. The guy went to ride and then threw my bike under a moving trailer. Thank God he survived. Nothing happened to him, but the bike was totally written off because the trailer stepped on the bike and everything gone. When they sent me the picture, it was as flat as paper. But the good thing was I've learned this insurance thing. All I needed to do was just take a picture of it, get a police report in the surroundings where it happened. And I sent those two, plus my statement, sent to the insurance company. Within 1 month, they paid me back full money, 100%. Even though I've used the bike for 3 months, they still paid me full money because I had insured it comprehensively. If I tell God is my insurance, that's how, and this is how people lose their wealth day in, day out. Can you mute yourself, mommy, kid? So, and this is how people lose their possessions because they are not wise. Insurance is a very smart thing. In Nigeria now, there are even insurance companies that allows you to insure your job. That is, if you lose your job today, they will pay you your salary for 6 months. So meaning if you're earning 1.2 million, like that guy that said he's earning 1.2, you're earning 1.2 million and you lose your job and you have been short, they will say you should pay for a minimum of 6 months or so, or 1 year. You've been with them for like 1 year before they lose your job. Before you lose your job, they will pay you your salary for 6 months so that you can, anytime you get another job. I think they set that 1 year timeline because Nigerians now, they say if you lose your job, they don't put timeline of you running the policy before you can make that claim. People will lose their job last month and pretend as though they still have jobs. They will come and collect the money. So they don't want that. So that's why they've put all those control in place. So these are the types of insurance. There are several types, but I've just identified these 4 types. So we have health insurance. So some of you that have you're in paid employment, it's possible that your company already has health insurance for you. But if you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, it is important that you get health insurance for yourself because it saves you the costs that you pay when you are doing out-of-pocket payments. If a typical example is, if you want to go to the doctor now, they will ask you to pay for consultation. You pay consultation 10,000. They'll give you drugs, treatment. Let's say treatment is 30,000. The total is 40,000 naira. And God forbid that you go to the hospital like 5 or 6 times a year, 5 times a year, and you pay 50,000 at every time that you go to the hospital. Let's say you pay 50,000, 5 times 50, that's 250,000 is what you have spent. But if you are taking an health insurance or a health insurance where you pay the annual premium, there are some of them that will say pay annual premium of 50,000 naira. That's what you pay. You pay 50. So the person that took out health insurance paid only 150,000 and he is covered for the rest of the year. The person that said, no, I don't want to pay that 50,000, no. But every time he falls sick, he pays 50,000 every time. At the end of the day, one has saved 200,000. Is wiser than the other one. And of course, we have property insurance, which I already mentioned before. You can insure your property, any property. It's even so good now. If you have an iPhone, you can even insure your iPhone or your Samsung phone. So when your phone falls and break, your screen break, you don't have to be looking for, you don't have to withdraw your emergency savings. The insurance is already there. You just take it to them, they'll repair it for you. And of course, we have life insurance, where a lot of us run from that, no, I don't want to die because it's about, we think it's about death. No, it's not about death. Life insurance is not about death. It's just about, putting the interest of people that you're dependent into consideration, that in case anything happens to you, God forbid that you can't walk again, what happens to your dependents? For education insurance now guarantees your child's education. And it is so good that nothing has to happen to you. I like giving my landlord as an example. He tells me that his children's schools abroad, 2 of them, in fact, the third one has gone to join them now. Both of them, one engineering student in the US, second medical student in the US as well. The third one just went to join them. And I'm like, where are you seeing all this money? He said, that when he made money in his 30s, 40s, those are the times he bought insurance policies, education insurance, and saved that money. And that money had, grown. Now, he said he's not even using any of his money for school fees now. Is any money that he makes now from working, from rent, from other, is for eating, chop. He calls it chop money. The man is just chopping his life and enjoying himself because he has planned all those things when he was in his active work life. So you can do that as well. The last part, I think this is the last part so that we can, let me see the time. Okay, I'm still on time. I'm still on course. Estate planning. This one, we don't like hearing this one. Estate planning allows you to prepare for what happens to your estate when you pass away. God forbid. Most of us are still very young, right? But we need to know. This is a financial education class. So you should know all these things, right? Many people feel that an estate plan is only for rich people, but that is not the case. If you own anything of value, or if you have dependents who need to be cared for, if you were to pass away, you should have a plan. An estate plan describes the kind of care you want, right, for those that are dependent on you should anything happen. I won't overflow that so that we don't start to feel that, So what are the components of a comprehensive estate plan? I know most of us have heard of will, you've heard of trusts, you've heard of power of attorney. I'm just going to take those things one after the other. These are the components of an estate plan. The first one is will. What is a will? A will is the cornerstone of an estate plan. It outlines your wishes regarding the distribution of your assets. Without a will, the state's intestacy law will determine how assets are divided. We all know that if someone dies intestate without a will, where it is the court of law that determines how the person's asset is divided, right? That's why it is encouraged. Another strategy is trust. Trust are versatile tool that can help you manage and distribute your assets. The difference between trust and will is just that one is cheaper. You won't pay a lot of taxes. It won't involve probates, that goes through kind of proceedings, court proceedings and all of that. You pay so much expenses. For trust, you can easily get a trustee and get it done in a simple manner, right? Then we want to also look at, as part of the component of a comprehensive plan, is power of attorney. Power of attorney designates someone you trust to make financial decision on your behalf if you become unable to do so. And of course, the beneficiaries. Okay, I think I would stop now so that I can take questions. We can always look at trust and will. It looks like it's something adults want to hear, so that I don't get to start scaring us. So let me allow us to ask questions. If you have questions, If you want to talk, you can raise your hand. If you want to type your question, you can type it. Whichever one works for you. You can see Opeyemi's hand. So Opeyemi, please unmute and talk. Opeyemi goes first. One after Opeyemi.
Yes, okay. Good evening, Mr. Shei. Thank you for the teaching so far.
Yeah.
So my question is based on the insurance.
Tell
My
me.
question is, should we just walk to any insurance company and tell them we want to insure our goods or gadgets or something? Because we've had stories of a lot of insurance companies that they seem competent at some point, then all of a sudden they are nowhere to be found. So I want to know how the process of insurance goes, because I know you have to keep paying something every month, or I don't know the plan. So I just want to have a more understanding on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Opeyemi. So, like every other investment, right? One of the things I'm going to take us through after this program is you'll be able to know how to access the health of a company. You know, that's the most important thing. Assess the health, sorry, not access. Assess the health of a company before you invest into the company, right? Because what you're doing in insurance is you're also investing into a company, right? It's just that it's without return. So for every insurance, you pay something that is called premium, right? Premium meaning your consideration is the price you pay to enjoy the benefit. So if I want to insure my phone, usually when I insure that my bike that I said I 450,000 naira, you won't pay 40,000 naira. I only paid 5% of that amount, right? 5% of 45 or 450,000 is 24,500, if I'm correct, or 25,000. 24,000, just do the math. 5% of 450,000 is 22,500. Yeah, that's all I paid. Think about it. I paid 22,500, and within 3 months, the insurance company is faced with a bill of 450,000 naira, and they had to pay it. Right. So, how does insurance company make money? Insurance is actually a probability business, right? Meaning that they pull funds together from a lot of people, right? Out of that, a lot of people, if they pull funds together from, if 500 of us insure something with an insurance company and pay premium of 22,500 naira each, it is unlikely that within that year, all of us will come back for our money. It's impossible. All of us cannot have accident at the same time. All of us cannot suffer a loss at the same time. So that's what insurance thrives on, right? The fact that it won't happen to everybody. It will happen to only a few people. So the money of those massive number of people that it didn't happen to is used to pay the people that it happened to. Do you understand? So that is why insurance is very, and that's the standard practice of insurance globally. It's not anything hidden. It's public knowledge, right? You only pay small sum of money and you get to enjoy the benefit. So what are some of the insurance companies that I can recommend in Nigeria? Just Google it. Top 5. That's where I start my journey from. Top 5 insurance companies in Nigeria: Leadway Insurance, Cornerstone Insurance. Someone mentioned AICO. I have a bit of problem with AICO lately because AICO has too many court cases, and all of that. But AICO is also a very big insurance company that you want to also consider, right? So, and of course, Coronation. Why I like Coronation? Coronation is a fast-growing insurance company because the only reason why I like Coronation is because of the founders, because I have a bias for the people who founded it. The founders of Coronation Insurance are the owners of Access Bank, right? So for me, I like to look at leadership. Yes, AXA Mansard, because AXA Mansard is a combination of AXA. AXA is an international firm. Then Mansard is a Nigerian firm that merged to become AXA Mansard. So that's also a big insurance company. Someone said Allied and General Insurance. Yeah, there are a lot of good insurance companies that you can look out for. I hope I answered your question. Next person, Uamaka. So we don't waste too much time.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So I have 2 questions. In the breakdown for the budget, on the income side, you made reference to interest income. So my question is, for someone who probably has for instance, mutual funds, and earns interest on a quarterly basis and has given instructions for interest that has been earned to be plowed back into mutual funds. Now, do we reflect it in the budget that's under the saving, what do we call it now? Under the interest income for the month when drawing down the budget? That's the first question. Since we can't the plan is not to access it in the first place. Secondly, I just wanted clarity. Like you stated, if rent is paid annually and you decide to divide into 12 months and then save it, on the breakdown, would we come under the income, or would it come under expenses, or would it come under savings? Just to be clear, those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wamaka. The first answer is no. You don't need to reflect your interest income because it's not coming to you. Your budget shows what is coming to you, right, on a monthly basis. That's already an investment. You just know it in your mind, right, that is going into, because it's not, you can't plan. Do you understand? You can't plan with that. So don't put it in your budget, right? And if you want to put it, just put it somewhere so that you just know that it's there, right? And for the second one, I'm trying to remember the question. Remind me again.
The second question is, if you have a breakdown of rents monthly, do we put it as an expense or do we put it as savings?
It's an expense.
If you are trying to save up on a monthly.
It's an expense. It's an expense. Okay. It's an expense. All right. It's an expense, yeah. Another? Raphael, go next. Raphael, are you ready?
I am. Yes, I am. I'm just trying to unmute. Good evening, everyone. For me, right, I'm just happy you mentioned your landlord educational policy for his children, because I already have a bias for such kind of policy because of a bad one, because of my experience, right? Even while you were mentioning this, I stepped into one of my rooms and I brought out a policy done for me by my mom, and started looking at the date since 1999. These guys, till today, we could not even locate them to even see if we could get access to this policies that she kept at that year, and even with she could not get benefit from it. She had to sponsor the education from another means. Okay. You understand? And
what's their name? Don't mention their name.
So they are British America. Yes, British America. Yes, I have the American Insurance Company. Yes, British American Insurance Company, Nigerian PLC.
Did you Google them?
Yes, I did.
Did they merge with the company?
No, they did not. But I think they have an office in Port Harcourt. So I intend probably sending a mail.
Are they still around?
Yes, the Google is saying that they have an existing office in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt around Ikere Road, miles 2.
Is it PLC?
Is a based on what I'm saying? Yes, it's a PLC, Nigerian PLC.
Okay, what you want to do is you also want to go to NGX. NGX meaning Nigerian Stock Exchange. Go to their website.
Okay.
Check companies listed on the stock exchange, whether their name is there. Okay, let the person chat me up. I will assist. Excellent. You see, someone is already saying you should chat him up. Chukwemeka is saying chat me up. I will assist you. I just follow up with him after the call. Yeah. Do you have any other question? But we all know that. All right. Thank you. But we all know that when it comes to investing, right? A lot of we cannot use our parents as a yardstick. A lot of them actually made some mistake, right? It's not just about investing. It's about knowing, checking out for some facts and figures. Sometimes you might get it wrong. I'm not saying you will get it right all the time, but you will reduce your chances of error and you won't lose money. If you're going to lose money, maybe, it's going to be too much. Okay, I have, who is next? Olutosin.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Tosin.
Yeah, so to buttress the points that you've made, and then to also ask some clarity, is that when you were mentioning your savings, your rent savings,
yes,
or you said you mentioned that you didn't want to advertise any company, but I think you should.
Why?
Not advertise, but we're here to learn, and we're here to share.
No, what I'm saying,
mind and
I won't
experience.
say, I probably won't say it on my Instagram platform. I can say it here, of course. I can say anything here. This is my training. Do you understand? You guys are like my inner caucus now. I will say it, of course. I'm saying it on my Instagram.
Because some of us might actually want to buy into the idea of saving our rent monthly into a fixed savings platform that we do not have access to. And if we know the kind of microfinance bank or whatever it is to save, and we're sure of getting our money back, it will help. And then for the insurance, I also know that several insurance companies have different policies and business, whatever it is. So some insurance might have education and some might not have. I've worked with Leadway before, and I know they have a couple of business that they do. So if only you can also help us to know where to invest and where to the policies to take on, it will help a lot.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so just to answer that, for that savings, right? You want to try Cowrywise. I've been using Cowrywise now for like 5 years for my rent. That's why I save my rent monthly. No, for like 3 years, and I've never really had any problem with. Why I like it is because of that rigidity. Unlike PiggyVest allows you to withdraw. They will just charge you penalty, except you're using the safe lock option. But Cowrywise, if everyone is falling,
you don't carry everything. I be the Lulu.
That money you not get it.
Not be one you leave for fridge.
Okay, so then for insurance, I already mentioned some of the insurance companies that I use, right? For Leadway, Cornerstone, Custodian, AXA Mansard. Those are good insurance companies that you can, any policy you want at all, you can try them out. So let me call Maureen Morris.
Okay, good evening.
Morning.
Good evening, everyone. So please, this is to get your advice. Would you advise someone this person is currently working in a job that she's not satisfied with, and they happen to transfer her from Lagos to Benin, which is a place she doesn't want to stay. And already she has been looking forward to like leave the job, and she decided to start some certification training in tech related anyway. So now she's not thinking of resigning from the job so that she can return back to Lagos and focus on our training so that she can transit into tech. So is it advisable, because she said she doesn't want to stay in Benin, and she believes she has some savings that can sustain her, for a while she develop herself in order to transition into tech.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. So I think you've answered the question already. The most important thing is, what are you going to be doing in that space? Because idleness also can be depressing, right? So she has savings. You've just mentioned it now, that can take her through. So it means even if she doesn't get a job for another 1 year, she has savings that can take her through those 1 year, or that 1 year. That's number one. Number two is she has something that will keep her productive for that 1 year. So you want to leave minimum of 6 months to 1 year. So if she can answer those two questions in the affirmative, and is the person married?
She's single. Okay. And that's why, because she believes that now that she's not married, nothing is tying her, that she doesn't have children. So she just wants to focus on herself, because she's an engineer. She feels like she's just carrying the title engineer, but the money is not even reflecting. Imagine a petroleum engineer receiving 120,000 salary, and you're working in, the company itself is an oil and gas services company, but they don't pay well. So she prefers that, okay, she wants to just transition and develop herself so that she can get higher pay. And now that she's single, she doesn't have pressure from children or family. You understand? So she just wants to use that.
You answered the question correctly. There is no need to beat about the bush. So as far as she can answer those 2 questions in the affirmative, I think my personal belief as well is that when you're single, is the time to take all the risk you want to take in your life. You know, you can take more risk. You can leave a job. I have left a job. I've left a job before to volunteer, right? I left a job, resigned, and went to volunteer because I didn't have anything to do. Of course, I had a small business on the side that was paying my bill. So those are very important. But once you get married, those these things are not really easy like that. So it's better done now than later. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let's go to
I have a question. Good evening.
You're muted.
Okay, I want us to round off in another 15 minutes. So let's make it fast. Who wants to go next?
Hi.
Okay, go.
Who be you more?
Go.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you so much for your lecture. I just have 2 questions I want to lay out quickly. We were discussing about the expenses, also transportation. Give us a story about your personal experience about fuel cards also from major oil marketers. You didn't complete that story. Please, I need it because I am really burdened with fueling my vehicle for travels. That's 1. Then 2, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go on. I can hear
Okay.
you.
Then 2, another question arises from insurance. I was wondering what happens if you keep on paying premium year after year and then no unfortunate incident happens? What happens eventually?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Your first question, I was talking about buying total fuel card, right? Because I used to spend the money. Once I keep the 50K in my account, before middle of the month, I've spent it. I will not be looking for money to buy fuel up and down. I got that wisdom. The 2 filling stations I used to buy my fuel from, NNPC and Total, I just walked into their stations. I got what is called Total card, NNPC card. I started loading it. So I will load it with 25. I will load NNPC with 25K. I will load Total with 25K. Of course, I knew that is the fuel that will take me to work for the rest of it. Means I'm covered for the I know that 50K won't be enough now again. I'm talking about when I did it. I'm saying 50K won't be enough right now. Just have to look at how much is your transport allowance, how much is your fueling for the month. You can pay in advance into your card, like your fuel card. Go to this filling, all filling stations have it. Get the fuel card, and then you can use to fuel your card. You can use to fill your tank anytime you drive by their filling station, so that you avoid the temptation of having to spend that money on something else. That is number 1. For those that don't have cars, if it is Bolt you use for work every day, you can actually also create a wallet on Bolt and Uber and pay the money into their wallet. And anytime you transport, you use, but they just remove the money from there. All these things are available, are tools that can help you manage your finances better. If it is BRT, for those of you that live in Lagos, if it is BRT you use, BRT has what is called Cowry. Your Cowry card, you can pay it your Cowry card and just use it for the month. If it is, you don't want to use Cowry, you want to use a more conducive bus that is called Shortlers. There's a tech company in Lagos called Shortlers. They have shuttles that you can download their app, just like Uber, but their own is shuttle buses, right? You just look at which bus is going through my bus stop tomorrow. You select the bus, you wait at the bus stop, they pick you up from the bus, full AC bus, so they drop you at your, not just you, with other workers. Most likely, they will do Ikeja to the island or Oshodi to the island, and it's basically people going to work on the island like that. They do that on a daily basis. You can explore that option, pay into the wallet as well. To answer your second question of insurance, you are just paying every year, and nothing unfortunate has happened. The truth is, what about insurance? That's the way insurance works. There's nothing you can do about it. What you can now do is you can always negotiate. What I do, I negotiate my premium downward because my car is depreciating and reducing in value, right? So if my premium last year was 50,000, I can negotiate a lower amount this year. Insurance is paying that in case anything happens. Sometimes nothing will happen. But don't forget that as nothing is happening to you, something is happening to other people too. And those ones are getting paid. So that's how to process it. Any other question?
You're muted. I'll just go ahead and ask. Are we going to get the PowerPoint?
Have I done Tosin? Okay, Dari, right?
Yeah, are we going to get the PowerPoint for this?
Of course, this PowerPoint, after this call, that's why I'm recording this session. I will send you the recording as well as the slides. So you can, yeah.
Also, I know you quickly skipped past emergency funds. Like, I was hoping you could just touch on that, like 60 seconds if possible.
Okay, thank you. So emergency savings or emergency funds is something you put aside for an unforeseen circumstance or anything, in case anything happens in the future. In case anything happens, that's what emergency funds are for, right? It's something you don't touch. So in the course of this program, I will show you where to put your emergency savings, right? Your emergency savings should be in a place where within 48 hours, you can call it out. You can get it out to use for something that you want to use it, because it's as the name implies, emergency, right? Someone is in the hospital, they need money for the person's operation. You don't have the money in your bank account, but the money is in your stock account. Stock is so good that you can sell a stock today and get your money today. You can sell a stock today and get your money tomorrow. If the money is in money market or mutual funds, you can sell the mutual funds and get the money within 48 hours. Those are vehicles that you can use to save your emergency funds. Emergency savings or emergency funds are the funds that you put aside for unforeseen circumstances that you don't touch. So if all you have access to save in a month, when you have deducted all your expenses, like that girl that has 70,000 naira, she now needs to sit down. How do I divide these 70,000 into my two kinds of savings? Don't forget, she's already doing one kind of savings, which is expenses related savings or consumption related savings. She can also say, I want to take professional course. I want to start my MBA next year. I don't have the money. I want to start saving towards my MBA. That's another example of savings, another example of consumption or goal-based savings. So she cannot divide that 7,000 into three. One portion goes into our goal-based savings, which is towards our personal development. The other one goes into emergency savings. And the last one goes to our investment savings. I hope that answers your question. Moses, are you talking?
Yeah. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Shey.
Good evening.
All right. Straight to my own question. I just want to ask you. You made mention of a particular app for saving your rent. So I didn't quite get the spelling of that app.
Cowrywise. Cowry. COWRYWISE. Cowrywise.
All right. That's number one. Number two question. Like, is it wise for someone to save your income into like all these piggy vests, and at the end of the year you have vested, then you push it to another of your bank account?
Okay. So when
those are my questions.
When you are saving, do you know that as good as some of these platforms are, I won't advise that you put all your savings. You can't put all your savings in one bucket. So I'm saying that I've put my rent in Cowrywise. God forbid that anything happens to Cowrywise. I have money elsewhere as well, right? I have money in another account. I have money in other investments. So there's something called, we're going to get there. It's called diversification. You do not put your entire savings. I said there are three kinds of savings. So you now say, okay, you want to do only one savings. So the only one savings you are doing in your life is now with piggy vest or is now with Cowrywise. You're already doing something wrong. You can't do that. You have to break because nothing is secured. Do you know the bank that is called Silicon Valley Bank? SVB. SVB is one of the largest tech bank in the world. It's not in Nigeria. It's a USA bank or US bank. It folded up this year. What are we now? What's SVB is the size of when you combine about 8 Nigerian banks together. That's what SVB is. It failed.
Wow.
If that one can fail, what is PiggyVest? What is Cowrywise? What is all these small companies in Nigeria? What is Access Bank? What is Zenith Bank? Do not put all your savings in one account. It is not done anywhere. It is a wrong financial step to take. So that is what I would say to that. But all those other platforms are secured. PiggyVest is secured till now. Nothing bad, no bad news has come about them. Cowrywise is secure. No bad news has come about them. The only one that I want to advise you to put your money in right now is that Payday, whatever their name is, that they said their CEO is paying himself $15,000 per month. So those ones, they're having a lot of issues now. They are talking about acquisition. Another company is about to buy them over and all of that. So that one, if you are saving your money there, remove your money and put your money elsewhere. So someone said, I skip trusts. Right, it's intentional. I'll probably take another class. I'll use another class to run through how to open trust. I know you must have heard Trust Baby. So trust is just another way that you can manage all your assets. As you start to grow, right, your portfolio, you can say, no, I want to start invest. You create what is called a trust fund and give it a name. You can say Seyi and Sons Trust Fund, right? It is no longer Seyi Abiodun. It means I now all my investment will not be put under that Seyi and Sons Trust Fund. Right? I get a trustee who is usually maybe a lawyer or anybody in that space. The trustee is the manager of that fund. Right? All my investments can be on that trust fund. My stock, my cash in bank, all my other investments. It is no longer in my name. It's now in the name of the trust. Why do people do trust? Why do they do trust as opposed to will? Trust and will actually does the same, similar things, just a bit of difference. Trust gives you more flexibility. In that, I hope you know that the fact that you have a will, you write a will, God forbid, that everything that you own should be given to your sons, you wrote the will clearly. Lawyers, Nollywood used to lie to us. It's not the one that say lawyer will just come and read the will. It's not like that though. There's a court procedure that has to happen. There's probate that has to happen. There are taxes that needs to be paid. There are a lot of verification from the law that has to be done before the will can be administered, or the will can be, whatever you have written in the will can be what's the word? Can be made good. But trust is not like that. With trust, you probably won't pay tax. Let me show you some of the differences. Let me share the slide again. So I'm not talking from off my head. I'll just go to make it very fast. Let me just show you can you see my slides?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay. I want to just trust or will. What is the difference between trust or will? The most significant difference between a trust and a will is that trust allows the property to be distributed to be beneficiaries without having to go through probate. Probate is that, that legal process is a lot of time is longer. It's a longer process. A trust, but this is the comma that trust has. Trust, however, cannot name guardians for children. So in will, you can say my children are still small. You can name a guardian to be the custodian of your property until some conditions are met for trust or for will. But for trust, you cannot do that. The trust already has an administrator, already has a trustee that's in charge of that. A trust cannot designate how taxes and debts are to be handled. Therefore, those who set up trust also still write wills. Right? So those are the basic significant difference. The other thing that you also want to know about parties to a trust. There are 3 parties to a trust. There is the grantor. That is the person that created the trust. I'm the owner of the property. I'm the Seyi Abiodun that created the Seyi and Sons Trust. Right? Then I appoint a trustee who is responsible for managing the trust and the assets in it. And of course, the beneficiaries are the people that are assigned the properties to. Trust can hold tangible assets such as cash, stocks, real estate, intangible assets such as patent, copyright, and all of that. The trustee is responsible for managing investment and growth of the trust fund. So another thing, why people go for trusts, probate, that's the process of the law, is time consuming and expensive, right? And it only occurs after a person's death. It includes verifying the validity of a will, inventorying, appraisal of the property, paying debts, paying taxes, and then distributing the property. So people don't want, if you want to go through all this process, they just do a trust. It's a very easy way out. We can still talk about much and more. Open, do you still have questions? I think I answered your question already.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this second opportunity. Okay, my question is based on the budgeting thing. So you talked about someone having a salary. What about for an entrepreneur who doesn't have a specific amount of money? So let's say that now that we went through this class and your balance is 000, for example. So how do you draw your budget as an entrepreneur? You don't know how much to expect for the month and all that.
Okay.
So how do you go about it? Thank you.
Well, I said that as an entrepreneur, I said it in the course of this class that your business is separate from you. So the first assignment that you are going to do, you will run a business, is to draw your business budget. And what you are going to be using with the figures you're going to be using is going to be the figure that you made maybe last month or 2 months ago. How much did you make on a month? Did you make in, say, July? You write it down. How much did you make in August? How much did you make in September? You can take 3 months like that, random 3 months, and do an average. So if you make 200,000 in July, you make 250 in August, and you make 400 in September, do a calculation of the three. Do 200 plus 250 divided by 200 plus 250 plus 400 divided by 3. So you get an average. That gives you an exam and an insight into how much potentially you make monthly. Write that down. Then do your monthly expenses. How much does your business pay as expenses in a month? You do that as well. What is the difference? Let's say you are left with 200,000. That is your business profit for the month. That is not your money. It is for your business. From that profit, you now pay yourself a salary. In fact, do you know how I tell people to do it practically? I'm always very practical with things I say. I tell people how to start the process. You may have to deactivate access to your business account. If you still have ATM to your business account, you are doing something wrong. If you can just easily transfer money from your business account, from your mobile app, you are doing wrong. You need to go to your bank tomorrow and tell them to deactivate all access. You don't want to be able to transfer money from your bank, from your business bank account anymore. If you have ATM, you cut it off. You don't want to have it anymore. So that all the money that your customers are paying can be in your business account. You are only going to be withdrawing once a month from that account. Once a month, and the two monies you are withdrawing once a month are, number one, what is called interest or running expense or petty cash. So meaning that you've done a calculation of how much do you spend monthly to run your business. Maybe you have a shop, you used to buy fuel inside generator. How much you used to buy fuel for a month? Maybe you buy 2,000 naira fuel every day, and they don't take like every day. You buy for 10 days, that's 20,000 naira. You do, what else do you pay? You pay NEPA bill in your shop. How much do you pay? You pay whatever it is that you pay, all the expenses that you use in running your shop. Let's say the total expenses for running your business in a month is 100,000. Write it down. Then your salary, how much can your business pay you now? Can your business pay you like 100 or 200,000? How much realistically? If what the best can pay you is another 100,000, and you have a sales girl that you pay 50,000, it means your total expenses for the month is 250,000. By the time you are going to your bank at the end of every month, the only money you are withdrawing is that 250,000. Immediately you withdraw that 250,000, 50,000 is your expenses for the next month. 100,000 is your expenses for the next month. You can pay that one into an account that has ATM. Or if you have a staff that you can trust, you can give the 100,000 to the staff. All corporate offices do it. They call it interest. There's someone in the office, in the admin department that keeps the interest money. You can buy a small box. It's called T box that has lock and key. You keep the cash here with document meaning ledgers that has to be signed. So at every time that person gives out money, madam, want to buy fuel, 2,000. Oh yeah, go and take it, sign. 2,000 taken for on the 2nd of July 2024. Write the date, put the amount. The job of that person is at the end of the month, that interest must balance. By the time you do the total on that list, total money that you have spent for the month, it must be equal. If you have spent 48,000, there must be 2,000 cash to balance, to show that the 50,000 or the 100,000 for the interest has balanced. Do you understand? So those are the only, so that is the only logical way, only practical way that you can cut off your influence as a small business owner to your business finance. If you don't do that, you just see that you are spending money from some people who ask them, give me your business statement of account. Inside business statement of account, you'll be seeing launching, tantalizer, money to make air. Inside business statement of account, investors will be running from you if they see that kind of things. Don't do that. So pay yourself a salary from your business, right? And let your own personal expenses come from that salary. I hope I answered your question. Okay, one more person before we go. Opoyemi, do you have something? You have a question too? I think we've overshot our time by almost 30 minutes.
I have a question, please.
Okay, Solomon.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for this rich package. My question is, who is a trustee, please?
Okay, a trustee can be a lawyer, right? There are people like that. You know, you cannot, when it comes to trust, investment through a trust is not something you can do alone. You need a lawyer to guide you through that process. So you need to get a lawyer. There are some lawyers that are also trustees, right? You may want to speak to them to guide you through that process. But it's not something you can do on your own. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. But this kind of lawyers, are they specific to just
Yes,
trust,
no.
or how do
They
you
are
find them,
property
please?
lawyers. They are property lawyers. They are transaction lawyers. So if it's something you really want to do, I can recommend a few guys to you that I know that's the space they are in. But that's their own. They are family lawyers as well. That is their own specification.
I'll be very grateful if I could get the recommendations. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's nice. No problem. I will. I'll give you someone. All right. In the absence of any other question.
Mr. Sheyi, please, I have a question. Just one question.
Oh, yeah, one question.
I promise I will not disturb you. Okay, I met a friend that told me about a particular app that you can be keeping your savings. So I want to know if you have idea about that. What's it called? That app is called Pay My Rent. In case you have any information about them, is it safe to use them, or that's the only question I want to ask.
I've
Thank
never
you.
heard of Pay My Rent. I don't know which one is Pay My Rent again. You know, all these new apps are just coming up daily. There are innovations by new people. So my own is, I'm a very conservative person when it comes to finance. Right?
Exactly why I'm asking. Sir.
Because if I've lost money before, my first 1 million, I lost it. Because of that, I'm always very, in fact, the thing I check before I put my money anywhere. This one, I've never heard of them before, quite honestly. But I can Google them and check them out, right? But I'd rather you put your money in a place where we all know a company that has been in existence for 4 or 5 years, you know.
Okay.
I think what these guys will be doing is, you know, I know there are some companies that they help you pay your rent and then you now pay them back. Like they offer like a loan facility to pay your rent and then you now pay them monthly. Is that what they do?
No. It's just like a PiggyVest app.
Okay.
They would once you're saving your money, there's a particular interest they give you every month. But just that before I want to go into it, I need somebody that is
I've never
experienced
used them before. Quite honestly, please be careful. I've never used them before.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. I think we spent so much time on this session. So we'll continue on Saturday. Our next session, I'll try and upgrade. Ify, you want to talk? Because I can see that if you mute yourself. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. I will share this slide and the recording with us. And if you have any question at any point in time as well, don't forget, for the month, if you have any question, be free to drop it on the group. Even though if I miss it, when I come back, I would answer it. So that's the good thing with WhatsApp group. You can always ask any question there. And no question is foolish. Even if it's a question you've asked before, ask again and you're not clear. Please, at least within this 1 month, make the most of it. If I don't have an answer, I will call the people in charge. I have a lot of investment banking people. You know, one of them will be one of the investment banking firms that I use will be talking to us in the course of, I think, next week. That's the Codros Management. One of their head of marketing will be talking to us, taking us through the various policies that they do. Maybe at some point, I also get an insurance company. I'm not sure for now. But these are some of the things that you can expect to learn. Thank you so much. Okay, some people are saying in the chat.
Mr. Please, are you sharing this record via our email address, or you are sharing on the group? WhatsApp group?
I have to send it through email because it should be large. It can't go on WhatsApp.
Fantastic. That's what I just want to know. All right, thank you so much.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. Bye. Can we market us? No, don't market service on WhatsApp. Oh, no. Market your service on WhatsApp so that we don't mess up the whole place, please. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye. Good night.